on?
Yep.
I'm at Nancy's house. Yay! I got to see the place where the magic happens. And don't judge my hair today. I've been camping. Okay.
I was going to say something filthy, but
Your neighbors are going to know I'm over with that laugh. Who's visiting Nancy? She's got a loud mouth.
So when you said you were on your way, I washed my face and combed my hair
Yay! Oh, I'm dropping things.
and trimmed my nose hair.
Thank you. Well, thank goodness.
'Cause
You're taller
that-
than me.
I know, but in the video yesterday, it's just I had a crap and nose hair. Because the camera was aimed right up my schnoz when we were in the car.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
See, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah.
There's Wi-Fi at the campground, but it's really crummy.
there was a crop.
You know what? You're a natural girl, and that's admirable.
And it was blonde. So.
Yeah.
All
There
right.
you go.
So we have some more questions for part 2. And I apologize for the sound. The wind was brutal yesterday. We chased storms all day long. And then when I tried to edit out the background sound in editing, you might even notice that our voices sound sort of tinny because it was actually like taking off some of our natural voice. Yeah, but it's okay. But it's okay. There is wind today, but it's not going to be F4 hurricane.
That was something else. Like, we had to pause to pull in the awning because the trailer was going to take off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So some of the questions I have are just for me, and some questions are just for you, and
Oh,
some
I'm
are
looking
just
forward
me
to this.
and you.
Okay.
And yeah. So Elizabeth wants to know, Catherine,
Hi, Elizabeth.
besides your husband,
Oh.
who would you like to have dinner with? Alive, dead, famous, doesn't matter.
Who would I like to have dinner with?
Besides Mr. Dan, the cameraman.
Does it have to be famous?
Nope.
There's a couple. I mean, there's certainly quite a few people in my family tree that I would like to. I've got a lot of questions for.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to talk to I'd love to have dinner with my great grandfather Michael Hodgins. He's the one that came over in a coffin ship. Well, they called them coffin ships to Canada in 1846. And I'd love to find out what that trip was like.
So was he coming from England or Ireland?
Ireland.
Okay, because that would have been during the potato famine.
Yes, Roscommon, Ireland. And here's why I'm dying to ask him. Because the cruelest landlord in Ireland at the time, John McMahon, I think his name was found murdered.
Oh, so you want to know, did you do the...
I'm wondering if he and his brothers and then took off for Canada because he lived in Roscommon. John McMahon's house is now the Famine Museum in Ireland.
Interesting.
So
Did you go there when you were in Ireland?
You know what? We didn't get to see the museum,
Oh, no.
but we did get there when we went. Anyhow, you know what? That's joking aside. I mean, they didn't do it. Well, somebody did it, but
They might know.
yeah,
There
that's
might
very
have
true.
been talk.
That was very true. I'd like to, again, another family member, my great-great-grandmother, Annie Dorsey. I would like to have dinner with her. And of course, even just my own grandmother, I'd like to have dinner with her, and because I cannot find a wedding date for her and my grandfather. And I'd just like to say, okay, tell me about your wedding.
If there was one.
If there was one. And even if there wasn't, you know what? Tell me how you met
How you
and
met.
fell in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked my grandmother that before she died, and she didn't want to tell me.
You know why I think that is? A lot of times nowadays you hear people saying, oh, that's when marriages lasted a long time. They worked hard and marriages lasted 60 years. And I think marriages lasted 60 years, first of all,
couldn't get out
because
of them.
women had no options.
Yep.
And so it's nice when a marriage lasts long. My parents, 69 years, they were more in love at the end of their marriage than even at the beginning, which is a wonderful thing. But nowadays, at least, women have options.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so maybe that was the case with your grandmother.
Maybe. She just
Didn't feel like talking about it.
Of course, that's very much her.
No. Okay. Oh well.
And
Oh, and Charles Dickens.
okay.
Yeah, I'd like to have dinner with Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens.
What about his wife?
What about her? I don't want dinner with her.
Oh,
He cheated on her anyway.
Yes,
so
he did.
He'd have dinner with me.
yeah. He cheated on her, and she moved out.
Yeah.
And
So
made her out to be the bad guy.
yeah. So she, she got on with things even back then.
And she wants to know if I'm going to make another pink journal this year. Yeah.
Oh, the Pink Christmas Journal.
Yeah, pink Christmas journal.
Oh.
Yeah, I still have a box of pink Christmas stuff. And my job title, I am senior social worker. Because we actually have 3 social workers.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Wow. That's a position I didn't know existed, and it makes such sense now. But it wouldn't have dawned on me that social workers would be needed in a law firm.
I was a unicorn when I first started.
Wow. Well,
There certainly weren't very many.
doing good work.
Actually, I had a meeting this afternoon with social workers from all over the province. It's a community of practice.
Mhm.
So we meet every 2 months on Zoom and talk about what kind of training are you interested in getting? Is there anybody in our group that could provide that training to us as a group? What sort of practice issues are you having? What are you doing in terms of documents or different things?
Don't mind me. I'm sorry. I just want to make
You're
sure
worried about
you
Mr.
got home
Dan.
okay. With no roundabouts. Don't get me going on the roundabouts out here.
There's a couple of roundabouts on Westmount.
Oh dear. Oh my, I made it safe and sound.
That's good. That's good.
All right, hold on. Good job, honey. Have a nice nap. There we go. All right, done.
All right.
All right.
What's your question?
Oh, this one's from Kelly. Where is a place you have never traveled to and most want to visit if budget was not a factor?
Well, we'd go to Winnipeg.
See
Kelly.
Wouldn't that be fun? Imagine if we just knocked on her door.
We can get dirt cheap flights out of Hamilton to Winnipeg, like $60.
Oh. To Winnipeg. We could go right in the middle of winter, I've heard it's lovely.
And there's that. Yeah. Where would you go besides Winnipeg?
Well, of course, I'd rather go back. I've only seen all of Ireland. I've never seen England or Scotland. There's really not. You know what? I'm kind of boring. I'd want to see where my ancestors came from, and I'm a British Isles mutt. Mostly English and Irish. I have a feeling some of my Irish were displaced Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I would just put me on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And put me in the adults only pool area and just keep filling up my beverage of choice.
Well, we do have a plan to go to England as soon as we can get there. The trip is paid for a year and a half ago.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun.
But I would like to go to Europe, and mostly Western Europe. Well, I'd like to go to Prague, and so that's not Western Europe. At least I wouldn't consider it Western Europe. And Amsterdam, Copenhagen.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that the other night.
Yeah. That's where I'd go.
Yeah. My son, when he lived in London for a few years.
And Germany.
Oh,
I'd love
yeah.
to go to Germany.
Germany. I bet Europe's gorgeous. I would love to see all the churches in Europe. I must say,
Yeah.
but the flight. If somebody could like beam me up Scotty and just land me in Europe, yeah, I'd love to see all of it. But I hate flying. I really hate flying.
I'd entertain you.
Well, hopefully I'd be unconscious and wouldn't need entertaining. I'd wash down my Ativan with a white wine and wake up wherever it is we're going.
I'll just keep giving you gravel and
just say,
antihistamines and
say to the flight attendant, yeah, she's still breathing. It's okay. I put a spoon under her nose.
Linda wants to know, is there a journal that you sold that you wish you hadn't?
Wow. What about you?
There's a couple journals that I liked a lot, but I'm not sad that I sold them.
That's the way I feel.
The sewing themed one that was in the 5-ring binder that I did last summer, I thoroughly enjoyed doing that one. Actually, I think Linda bought that one. I think she did. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Not today, but I've been wrong before. And
You know what one of yours? Okay, here's a question. I'm interrupting the question. My favorite journal that you ever did is you did one on, it was like letter writing.
Oh yeah.
I loved that journal.
Oh, okay.
I loved that one. Just on like stationery and letter writing and correspondence. And it was just all themed on that.
Yeah.
I love that one. So sorry for interrupting.
Well, now you got me thinking. Which one of yours?
If you could have had one of mine.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
I'll have to
This'll
think
be
about
good.
that. I'll have to think about that.
Mm.
I should scroll through your
Yeah.
pictures. There it is. Oh, Ren.
Oh yeah, that one was.
Ren.
And I made that one. That
Yeah.
wasn't from an old book. And I keep telling myself I'm going to do that again, and I haven't got around to it yet.
I loved Ren.
Yeah, that one was fun. And that was all torn edges.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, of mine, I'm like you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that somebody wanted my book, and I hope that they're either using it, or else if they're the kind that want it on a shelf and love it, you know, whatever they do with it, it's their book. But I loved the Cratchit Christmas that I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Where at the beginning he was poor, and by the end he was a partner. And that was sort of a themed book that I did. That sort of the theme evolved.
I like that.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
like
And
it
there
when
was
you-
one
when
chapter
you
with
have themes.
Emily Cratchit's kitchen, and I put my fig pudding recipe in that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that one. And I also liked Mr. Snook. I liked that book I did. It was one of my
Oh,
all
yeah,
sorts
yeah.
books, but it was owned by that man.
Mr.
His name was Mr. Snook. And I just liked the way it turned out. It was just a whole mishmash.
And
but
he was a minister in
yes,
a Toronto
in
church.
Toronto, yeah.
You know, my great, I don't know how many greats now, grandfather was a minister up in your neck of the woods.
Oh,
Yes. His name was Flummerfelt.
Sommerfeld.
Cornelius Flummerfelt.
Oh, that's a good name. Wow. Wow.
And I went to visited some of the, like he was a
Flummerfelt.
circuit rider, so he
Okay,
would go
yes.
to different churches.
Yes.
And I went and saw a couple of the churches that he was at. I want to say near like Whitchurch,
Okay.
Stouffville, up in that area.
See, I have family in that area. I should check like the baptism and wedding records that I have and see if his signature's on anything.
That
Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh my gosh.
And we'd have a connection.
We already do. There's got to be something somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So. Oh, okay. Oh, this is almost like business-like. I like this from Doris. Hi, Doris. Is there anything you wished you would have known or that has surprised you about having an Etsy shop? Now, you're way more experienced at that than me.
You know what? I got no complaints.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about Etsy. They've treated me very well. I've had to phone them a few times and they answer my calls. Like a human answered my calls.
Yeah, and I think everybody who's ever purchased anything from me has always been gracious and kind, and
Yes.
if there was a little something happened, they were always very patient with me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I think that's just gonna fly around.
Yeah, and we're watching a piece of paper.
Yeah, just
It flew off the table.
we're gonna try to ignore it.
Okay. Oh, look, a squirrel. Yeah, I found the purchasers and Etsy itself
Yeah.
have all been
And
very nice.
it was very easy to learn how to use it, I think.
I found some of the things hard.
Yeah.
I found, and I'm still struggling with, and I apologize to anyone who has inquired about shipping to countries other than Canada and the U.S. I can handle Canada, U.S., no problem.
Okay.
But overseas in that, I still don't quite understand how I figure out the shipping costs ahead of time for those customers. And so it scares me, and so I just leave it for Canada and U.S., and I feel badly. I have had a few people inquire from New Zealand, Australia, Netherlands.
Well, you could try it as an experiment one time, maybe just to challenge yourself, to see what the experience is like.
Okay. Anyhow, yeah, Etsy's great. I don't mind the fee that they charge. It's well worth it for me not to have the headache.
Yeah.
I can print off my paperwork to do my taxes. It keeps track of everyone who's made purchases. I think it's, for me, I think it's well worth it, whatever little fee they skim off the top.
Kelly wants to know, what junk journal theme or style have you not tried making yet that's on your I gotta do it one day list? And the follow-up question is, what's keeping you from starting it?
Oh boy, she's being a therapist.
Let's unpack.
Yes. I'm gonna need a sip.
You think I'm gonna stand up and make sure we're still recording?
Okay.
Because we don't have cameraman Dan today.
Did you drop your glasses?
No, I dropped. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, good.
No, I dropped the remote control.
Oh, okay. You know what? I can't think of any that I've tried a no-sew journal. You know what?
What about a theme?
To do a theme.
Well, you don't really do
I
themes
find,
per se.
yeah, I find themes very challenging and sometimes constricting.
Mhm.
I need to really be in love with the theme to do a theme because I love doing an all sorts book so much.
Mhm.
And for me, that seems like the true spirit of a junk journal is that you're just throwing in whatever you love. But I do love a good theme. I thought she meant like whether it's
Well,
completely made
she said a theme or style.
a style. Okay. Because I think the only style that I've never made to put in my shop is an altered book. And I'm still playing with altered books. They're very difficult to make. A nice altered book is really hard and really time consuming. I'm still working on that one. You know the one in the last, yeah. I'm not done it yet. Just getting the papers glued together.
And what's the benefit of doing an altered book rather than just putting new paper in a cover?
I think it's just that it's cool that,
Okay.
that it's the papers that were in the book. And I think it's not a writer's type of journal. It's an artist's kind of journal to make art in.
Oh.
And that part of it fascinates me. It caught us.
Gotcha.
But I've done little golden books. I little golden booked myself out. I like the freedom of the no-sew journals, you know, where you put it in like a traveler's journal. You got me going on the traveler's notebook kind of journal.
Those were fun.
Yes. And I'm glad I'm glad I followed along with you and did that, because I don't think I would have tried.
I don't think I would have either. It was
What?
my first one.
Wow, that was great.
I would like to do a no theme.
Like in all sorts?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh!
I've never done that.
That's where you use your coveted things and just throw them on.
Yeah.
And a cover that makes no sense. Like Mr. Snooks, was it a religious book?
Well, maybe that should be our next challenge. Is I'll do an all sorts, and you'll do a.
Oh no, not a sewing one. I can't do it. I can't do it. No.
All right, we'll come up with something else.
I wouldn't be able to hold a candle. No.
Let's do something else. What? And what's keeping you from doing it?
From doing which one?
Yeah. I just don't think I'd be good at it. That's what that.
Well, a sewing one, I don't think that I could do it justice.
And I also think having a theme kind of keeps me out of the gutters, you know? You know,
The
when
gutters?
like when you're bowling.
Yes. Okay.
Just kind of keeps me in the lane.
And I think that people who choose to purchase a junk journal rather than create their own, I think they enjoy having a theme
Mhm.
to their journal. So that's why I try and find a way to make it interesting for me, because I love an all sorts book. But a theme, yeah.
Oh, your all sorts of books get snapped up too,
Yeah, they
so it doesn't.
Thank goodness.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Oh, next question from Sandy and Linda. Have you made a journal specifically for yourself?
I have, and I brought some with me.
Yay!
So, well, yesterday we were talking about my first junk journal ever, and that was this one. It was on the banks of Plum Creek. And there's a little buggy boo crawling on it.
These are hard to find.
The hardcover.
The hardcover color ones. Very hard to find.
And my only mistake with this was I should have put a new spine on it because it's
Very alligatory.
full.
But it's
just
pretty full.
Full.
It's very pretty full.
This one is from a Reader's Digest cover.
Oh, I love it.
And
It's just the right amount of worn.
Yep. And I just put this picture of a rose on it, and of course pink. Pink is my signature color. And it's my inspiration journal, so when I see something that I like in a video, I'll do a sample of it and
Oh, a little dress.
yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
And this one is my personal journal.
Oh, I love that one.
Isn't that a great cover?
And that's
That's
the
the original cover.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, you got a little post on it.
Yep.
Oh, that is really beautiful. I love the color of it. That's a perfect book.
Yeah. So yep, I do make journals for myself because I'm a journal keeper too. It's part of keeping in touch with my inner.
It's healthy.
It is. I think it is.
Yeah.
Because if you just, alienate yourself from your internal thoughts and feelings, you can get into trouble.
And it's a way to be creative.
And an unexamined
outlet.
life is not worth living.
Okay, who said that?
I don't know.
It sounds like it should be a quote.
Maybe it should be.
I'll quote you.
Okay. I think somebody else said it though.
I bet someone
Oh,
said
did
it.
we? What did I do with my questions? Oh, yeah. Questions.
And I've made lots of journals for myself, but I didn't bring them camping.
No.
Maybe I'll do a video later in a couple of days.
I did do a video quite a while ago showing the kinds of things that I journal in my bullet journals.
I don't remember that one.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, I'll have to find it. Send you a link.
Oh, I don't remember that one. I thought I'd watched all
I have a
yours.
stack of bullet journals.
Love bullet journaling.
Yeah.
It's very effective and very efficient way for me to keep appointments. I used to use my hair appointment book as my journal.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I'd get the big appointment books that you can buy at beauty supply stores.
Yeah.
And the top part would be filled up with my appointments, and then just in the what was left over in the columns, because it would be a 7-day spread for
Yeah.
the week. When it was just mine, like not when I was in a salon with lots of hairstylists. No. When I had my own salon and I had my own book.
So Jenny, who lives, I don't know if she was born there, but she lives in my hometown.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Wants to know, what is the best thing you ever found thrifting or yard sailing?
Oh boy, I wish you had told me that this morning so I could think about it all day. Because my house is like your house. I can go through my house and say, I got this at that store and I paid this much, and I got this at that thrift store and I paid this much.
Your brain is better than mine.
Oh, geez.
The best,
I'm not sure.
the most memorable thing I found at a yard sale was before Doug and I got married, and our wedding was, people are still talking about it,
Oh, I bet it was good.
and it was very DIY,
Lovely.
and it was a huge wedding.
Oh, that's nice.
And so we were out yard sailing. I was looking for tablecloths for the reception. So we went to this yard sale out on Sunset Drive. Jenny, you know where Sunset Drive is, not far from her house. And the lady said, is there anything particular you're looking for? I said, oh, right now I'm looking for wine glasses and table linens, like tablecloths for a wedding. And because it was much cheaper to buy 10-cent wine glasses than rent them.
That makes sense. Yeah, and if they break, no big deal.
No big deal.
Wow.
Yeah, and if I could get a couple of tablecloths and not have to rent those.
Yeah.
And it kind of had a real thrown together look. Which
Yeah,
was,
shabby chic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. Anyway, she said, oh, well, come into the barn with me. And she pulled out a trunk and opened it up, and she says, let me look in here. And she says, oh, no, I don't see any tablecloths. And there was a quilt. I said, is that quilt for sale? And she said, well, I guess. Well, what do you want to pay for it? And I said, I wouldn't even know. She said, $10? And I said, oh, yeah, sure. And I gave her $10, and I carried it back to the car, and I sat down in the car, and Doug was already in the passenger side, and I was shaking because I knew I got something really special. It was a white and red basket quilt. It was old, it was beautiful, and I sold it for $500. I bought my wedding dress with it.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be.
Mm-hmm. So that was the most memorable one.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I don't feel like I robbed her, because
She made the offer.
She made the offer, and it was in a trunk in her garage, in her barn. Like, clearly she wasn't loving it.
So it was lucky mice hadn't chewed it yet to make nests.
Yeah. So that was my most
Oh.
memorable find. Do you have a memorable find?
Remember? Oh, I have a pie sink in my house, and I just love it. Pardon me, a pie cupboard,
Yeah,
You know, the
I was
kind
gonna
of-
say dry sink
No,
or
not a,
pie
yeah,
safe.
pie cupboard. I used to have a dry sink, but my pie safe. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
With the metal on the sides,
Yeah.
so that the pies can cool off while they're
And
inside.
no buggies get in.
Yes, and I love it so much. It's just beautiful. It's got all
Where
kinds
did
of
you get it?
scroll work up in Cooksville,
Oh yeah.
Ontario. Yeah. But I'm trying to think like of just a regular thrift store.
I got something really good yesterday. I got some fabric. Kim Deal fabric. Her last name is Diehl, and her fabric. She designs fabric that is like over dyed reproduction fabric,
Oh,
and I was very thrilled to find that yesterday.
nice.
Yeah.
So you kept going shopping yesterday after we were done.
No, I got it at our first stop. I didn't
I
show
don't
it to
remember
you.
seeing. Oh,
Maybe I didn't show it to you.
You can show me later.
Okay.
I get to see it later. Honestly, I'm so stumped. I wish I'd known this question. I would have been thinking all
It'll
day.
come to you in the
'Cause-
middle of the night.
Yes, it will. Because I'm wandering through my house mentally at all the things that I have. You know, that have been thrifted. One of the things I love, my brother thrifted
Mm?
because my parents raised us right. My dad was not above pulling things out of neighbors' garbage.
No,
And neither am I.
neither am I.
Yeah. In fact, one of the things I have in my house that I love, my dad pulled out of Mrs. Vizicali's garbage, and it is a beautiful copper Italian washing bin. You know
Oh,
those
yeah.
big bins? It's stunningly gorgeous. It was bright green. He brought it in the house, and all of us sort of went, "What have you got that for? Maybe there's a reason Mrs. Vizicali threw it out." And he said, "I'm going to polish this. You'll see." And it's gorgeous, and I have it now, and I love it. But my brother, when he was yard sailing down in Florida, found this gorgeous old ammo box, a wooden ammo box, and it's even got like the old keyhole, like a skeleton keyhole in it, and the old hardware on the edges. And he brought it home all the way from Florida and said, "Kath, I think you'd like this." And
And you said,
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So, and I put, and I thrifted them. I
Ballsy.
put, the industrial wheels.
I did that recently.
Yes, and it's such a good coffee table.
I got a box from somebody's garbage, and I got the big industrial wheels. I paid $2 a piece for them at somebody's yard sale,
Nice.
and I painted
They're
it.
expensive.
They are.
Like
They're
at Home Depot?
extraordinary.
Very expensive.
Extraordinarily. And I like painted it, but like dry brush white. Like it was mostly, and then I stenciled on it a French champagne label, and I sold it to somebody. Somebody came from Hamilton to pick it up.
Wow.
It was gorgeous.
And I love doing that, and I know you do it too. I'll find things at thrift store, and I'll have it sold on garage sale that afternoon. Because I recognize that they haven't charged
haven't
the right price.
appreciated it.
Yeah, and now I get it. On the other hand, they want to get it sold. They're trying to make money for charity. I'm
Mhm.
happy to give them the money for charity. I think that that's a good thing.
And pickers
But-
are in thrift stores all the time.
Yes,
That's who you're competing with.
absolutely. So I do that quite a bit. One of my best ones was a little wooden bench. It was just a cute little old wooden bench that must have had 12 different shades of paint on it. And I think they wanted $3 for it, and I sold it for $45.
Good girl.
Yeah,
Good girl.
I love doing that. And my husband, it horrifies him still. He's still not used to it. But I
got
love it.
a cookie cutter at a garage sale on Chestnut Street. So Jenny will know where Chestnut Street is. Paid 25 cents for it,
Yeah.
and I sold it to a museum in the States for $84
Wow.
on eBay.
Wow.
And it was a biscuit cutter that had a label on it. I can't remember what the label was. It was some kind of flower.
Yeah.
Yeah. good return on my investment.
But how did someone from there know that you had this cookie cutter?
I listed it on an eBay auction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. $84 US.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, I already did this one.
Yeah, we love thrifting. Oh, I've got a good one from Telly.
Okay.
Which TV show, book, or movie character do you most identify with and why?
This is gonna sound kooky. Laura Ingalls.
Oh, wow. Why would that be kooky?
I don't know, because, I mean, we're talking about two completely different eras and experiences.
Yeah.
But I think she wasn't perfect and she knew she wasn't perfect. Not like Mary, who's perfect.
Yeah.
And she wished she could be perfect like Mary, but just kind of accepted that it was never going to happen.
You know, there's a lot of us who think we're practically perfect.
I know, but she was really stubborn. And if somebody challenged her, she'd rise to the challenge.
I got the impression they really were in love, those two as well.
Who?
Laura Ingalls and Almanzo.
Oh yeah, I think so.
And have you seen pictures of him? He was a historical hottie.
He was quite handsome.
Whoa.
Quite handsome.
Yeah.
Who do you identify with?
I'm a blend
Of?
You know that new TV show, Frankie and Grace?
Yes.
Or Grace and Frankie? I feel like I'm a bit of both of them. Because I'm quite hippie-ish, like Frankie.
Yeah.
But Grace also, I mean, she loves martinis. And
The finer things in life.
yes, there's a few things that she appreciates that I agree with her, that I appreciate. But Frankie, maybe I'm closer to Frankie. Yeah.
You're gonna make your own lube?
Oh, you saw it?
That's a great show.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
very
a show.
funny. Yeah.
You know, and there's not a lot of opportunities for women of a certain age to.
To start a new business. You know what? I watch the show and I think, which one would I be? Because I'm stumped. But I know I'm not as fussy as Grace.
Yeah.
Like, you know, her fine tailored clothing and dyeing her hair. Like,
Yeah.
I spent too many years dyeing my hair. I'm not dyeing my hair anymore. This is me. So,
Laura wants to know if I still have my booth. No. And that's because after I started my booth, I had a couple of surgeries, which took me away from that. And then, the booth that I was at, they were very particular about when you could go to restock. And I work full time.
yeah.
They don't want you there on the weekends because that's when most people are there shopping. Well, okay, so it was difficult to get into restock, and then the pandemic, so they were closed. So I just, yeah. I might go back into, like, I had a booth before
Yeah.
that we loved doing together. And it was a hobby. We would go look for stuff together, and then we would go to the store. This was in London, Ontario. We would go to the antique mall.
Sorry.
The birds.
There's like some crows that are out to get us.
And, you know, we would go and set things up, and then we'd get our check at the end of the month and
Nice.
go on a date.
Nice.
Yeah. We didn't make a lot of money at it, but it was a hobby.
You still had it when I started watching.
Yes.
You.
Yeah, I think I just gave it up last summer.
Yeah, I loved seeing how you set little things up and what you were looking for, and that was fun. I enjoyed that. And you've got the estate sales out here that are such a help too, don't you?
No, we don't have estate sales here. I go to
Oh.
Buffalo.
Oh, it's Buffalo where you do your estates.
Yes. And you know, the Canadian dollar is over 80 cents right now.
Oh, thank goodness. We've been waiting. I remember when it was $1.15.
I know.
That was nice. Better ever do that again.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember when it was 65 cents.
Yeah.
So the dollar's really good right now. I might just go.
This weekend?
Yeah. I might. If I can get a COVID test, I might.
Well, Mardell says she'll meet you in Vidlers.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not ready to come yet, Mardell, but soon. I'll definitely be there in November.
So another question from Kelly.
Oh, yeah?
Name a celebrity or historical figure you'd like to meet. What would you ask them? A historical figure or a celebrity?
Historical.
Or a celebrity.
Or a
Doesn't matter.
celebrity.
Yeah, it could be somebody who's not. Charles Dickens. You said you wanted to have dinner with Charles Dickens.
Just because I love his sense of humor. And I like to sit and
Ah.
listen to him talk. I love his sense of humor. Historical figure. No, you know what I'd love to do? My great something or other grandfather, John Martin,
Mm-hmm.
sailed for many years on the ship line that the Ang and Cheng bunker sailed on when they did their first European tour. So he was actually working on the ship. They were the conjoined twins,
yeah.
Chang and Ang bunker.
I wonder how they got that name, Bunker.
Yeah, you get the name bunker when you're from that area of the world. And they married twin sisters and had a lot of children.
Yeah,
That's another show.
that I got a problem with.
Anyhow, I would love to maybe be on the ship when they were on the ship and see what my grandfather had to do on the ship and not my umpteenth grandfather.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Martin is a German name, isn't it?
Well, he lived in England, so
Okay.
at some point somebody came over.
Well, it could be an English
He
name
was
too.
in London.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's for me. It's all personal.
Mhm.
I feel like I get answers to the questions of why I am who I am and that.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say the
celebrities.
same thing.
Yeah.
My dad's mother died when he was a kid. He was 12 or 13, I think. Her name was Pearl, and she was 44.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah. And I didn't know anything about her. She had sisters. Well, she had half sisters, step-sisters, full
Mhm.
sisters.
Ah, yes.
And by the time I was interested, I called up my Aunt Gertie because I wanted to know more about my grandmother. You know, what was she like?
Mhm.
What did she do? What did she like to do? Actually, I don't have that tablecloth anymore. I gave it to Andrea.
That's some good hands.
Yeah. So I know she did needlework,
Mhm.
but whether that was a daily thing for her or she died after cutting the grass. So I thought, what did she
Heart
like?
failure?
Yeah, something with her ticky tack. And I thought, okay, she had 3 boys and a husband. What was she doing cutting the grass?
Why was she coming there? Well, hopefully they were out making the big bucks.
The kids would have all been school age.
Well,
But was that just something she enjoyed? Did she prefer to be outdoors and
I like cutting grass.
digging in the dirt and growing flowers?
No, I don't like doing that. But I like cutting grass.
Yeah.
I like making the downs.
Will you cut my grass?
You know what? I would. If
The
you
mower's
needed
right
me-
there.
If you needed me to, it's. Oh, you know what? I could do that.
It's just been so wet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Dan says that it's worth it to let it go to seed, and it fills in better.
Oh, this will never fill in.
Oh, but that's the excuse you can tell yourself. We're letting it go to seed so that it can fill in
Okay.
better.
Yeah,
That's what you tell people.
yeah. And our front lawn, well, it shouldn't be too hard to cut.
Oh my goodness, they'll come back and put sod on that.
Yeah, it will.
I saw. There could be some bodies in there
I don't care.
of the construction workers that you killed.
So that's my answers. Are you done with your questions?
I'm not done. Yes.
No, you had a question?
No, you remembered it and we answered it, didn't we?
No. Have you ever done a genealogical journal?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. From Kathy.
Kathy.
Did we
Yeah.
do it?
No,
Oh, okay.
because I don't remember you answering.
You're right. I didn't. You know what? It's been a long day. I went from Kitchener to Elora to Fergus over to Cambridge, back here. A genealogical. Kathy, you asked the question. Have I ever thought about doing a genealogy based junk journal or a genealogical junk journal? And I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Whether
Well, lots of people do scrapbook. They scrapbook their ancestry.
I'm wondering if that's what you mean. Like do it
maybe-
based on someone in my family and do a journal based on them. Maybe that's it.
Or
Because some people do those memory books for one person in particular.
like I did for Violet.
Yeah, that was lovely. That one was so. I felt like I got to know her by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crossed my mind a lot because it fascinates me so much. But I haven't done one
And you
yet.
could copy documents to use as
Yes.
the pages.
Yeah.
Well, you did your Christmas one that you did with the Christmas stories,
For
your
myself,
December
yeah.
dailies.
Yeah. That was fun. That was hard. That was hard to keep up with that every single day.
Oh, I loved it.
Especially-
I loved it.
Well,
I loved all the stories.
all those rambling
I loved
stories.
the collage and how you picked out.
That was fun. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I won't do one this year. That was a one-time thing. And it's for my family, so. But yeah, you know what? You've given me something to think about. Or even, even base it on someone who I know quite a bit out of my family tree and build a book around them, or maybe, yeah, like do a junk journal just based on like Laura Ingalls or that. That would be kind of, or like an Anne of Green Gables kind of, or Lucy Maud Montgomery, although she had such a sad life. Everyone loves all the Anne books and that, but Lucy Maud's life was quite sad. No?
I think parts of it were,
Yeah.
but she, in order to write such,
You got experience
Yeah,
to know
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
writing about. That's very true.
yeah, she must have had happy times.
That's very true.
And she was very connected to Prince Edward Island. So
Yes.
the nature and
Her last place she lived is quite near where I live.
yeah,
Yeah.
we drove through it last year coming back from Algonquin, and I said, the Lucy Maud Montgomery Museum is here someplace, and we had already passed through it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And the little,
That's who I would go and see. Lucy Maud Montgomery,
yeah, that
that's a
would be
historical
fascinating. Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
and a celebrity.
Yes.
I would ask
Yeah, I
her.
bet she'd be very interesting. Especially after that book that I got on her journals, on her scrapbooks.
Yeah.
That was fascinating.
I read her journals. I think there's 3 volumes. Maybe 4. And they were, and I'm 99% sure they were all from after she married and moved to Ontario.
See,
And-
that reminds me of Emily Carr's journals. Have you ever read hers? No. Very interesting. She was quite secluded for a good reason.
Oh.
She was quite cranky. But a good artist.
Yes. I don't want to talk to any cranky people.
You knew she liked you though if she pulled a chair down from the ceiling and put it down for you, and she wanted you to stay and sit for a while.
Makes sense.
Yes.
You don't want company, don't have chairs.
She would, to make more room to paint, she would hang them from her ceiling. And if she was enjoying your company and didn't mind if you stayed, she'd get a chair down for you. But otherwise, no chairs, so you wouldn't stay very long.
Well, I think that's part 2.
I think we're done.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us. I'm sure when you get home tomorrow, you'll do a little thrifty haul.
Yeah.
Did you do any thrifting today? You didn't find any.
I didn't find anything. You know what? I found 2 things at the one store.
Show off your pens.
Oh yeah, pens. I bought some fountain pens. Beautiful store in Cambridge, Ontario that just sells fountain pens. Oh.
Have you ever been there before?
No.
And that part of Cambridge, Galt, is
Yes.
gorgeous.
I had no idea where I was because I thought I was in Cambridge and I'm seeing Galt everywhere and I don't know how these things work.
You were in Cambridge. But Cambridge
Used to be Galt?
used to be, well, it used to be 3 towns, Hespeler, Preston, and Galt. And I think they amalgamated in 77.
Oh.
But for sure, if you live in Cambridge, you don't say you live in Cambridge, you say, well, I live in Galt, or I live in Preston, or I live in Hespeler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But downtown Galt is beautiful.
Yeah, well this little store was heaven. All these beautiful, beautiful pens and playing with them and trying them.
That's where I get my bullet journals. It's down there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they had lots of really nice ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for all your questions.
Bye-bye.
We did well. As ever, I talk too much, but that's me.